So we're going to walk you through a proof on how to find the derivative of arc sine of x. Now we talked about this the other day. Arc sine is the same thing as sine to the negative 1 of x, but it's usually written as arc sine in most calculus books. So here goes the proof. See if you can follow along with it. We are going to be finding h prime of x. Well, another way that I can write arc sine, because keep in mind, arc sine is asking for an angle. What's the angle whose ratio is x? So I can write this as the sine of an angle is equal to this ratio. All right, h of x up here is an angle. So the sine of h of x is equal to x. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the derivative of both sides of this equation. And on the left side, I'm going to have to use a chain rule. I have an inner function, which is h of x. The outer function is sine of x. So the derivative on the left side is the derivative of the inner, h prime of x, times the derivative of the outer evaluated at the inner. On the right-hand side, the derivative of x is just 1. Remember, our goal is to find h prime. So I can simply divide both sides of the equation by cosine of h of x. All right, great. So now we do that, but keep in mind that the cosine of h of x is arc sine. That's how we defined it in the beginning. So I can replace h of x with arc sine. So now what does this mean? Well, this is simply asking for what is the cosine of an angle whose sine is x. That's a mouthful, but think about this for a second. What's the cosine of the angle whose sine value is x? Well, we can answer that pretty easily by just looking at a picture. All right, so let me get right to the picture. This is the picture right here. Here's an angle. The sine of that angle is x over 1, opposite over hypotenuse. Our goal is to find the cosine of this angle. So to find the cosine of this angle, all I need is this side right here. Since the hypotenuse is 1, this side of the triangle represents the cosine of theta. And I can use Pythagorean theorem to do that. All right, I know the Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but in this case, c squared is just 1. So when I solve for this side, I get the square root of 1 minus x squared. All right, so I think I've just answered this question. What's the cosine of an angle whose sine of x? Whose sine is x? The cosine is 1 minus x squared. The square root of 1 minus x squared. So we can say that h prime of x is 1 over the square root of 1 minus x squared. And we just found the derivative of arc sine. So this right here, you can add this to your yellow sheet. Take a few seconds, you can pause the video, add this to your yellow sheet. And now there are 2 more inverse trig functions that we're going to add to your yellow sheet. I'm not going to go through the proofs of these, but the next one is arc cosine. Now arc cosine, once you have arc sine understood, arc cosine is pretty easy because all we're going to do is negate the 1, or negate the fraction. So add that to your yellow sheet. You can pause the video. And then finally, the last one that you're going to add to your sheet, and we're not going to go through the proof of this one either, but we're going to add the derivative of arc tan. So that's 1 over x squared plus 1.